He didn't raise his voice or dress it up as a revelation. And yet, the moment struck with unexpected force. When the words left his mouth, fans went still, replaying the clip just to be sure they'd heard it right. There was no dramatic pause, no knowing smile, no flourish for effect, only a calm sentence spoken without armor. Somehow, that restraint made it feel more real than any grand declaration ever could. The setting itself was ordinary, almost misleadingly so. Heughan appeared at ease, speaking with a tone that suggested comfort rather than performance. He wasn't prompted to confess anything, nor did the conversation corner him into vulnerability. That ease became the first signal that something had shifted. For longtime fans, the surprise wasn't the word love itself, but the way it flowed so naturally. Sam had always been careful, sometimes deliberately guarded, when discussing personal emotions. He spoke freely about gratitude, growth, and life lessons, but rarely about love in a way that felt immediate and lived in. This time, it sounded present, grounded, and unforced. Social media reacted instantly, but not with chaos. Instead, a strange stillness spread, as if people were collectively absorbing what they'd just heard. Comments filled with disbelief softened by warmth. Many admitted they smiled without realizing it, then wondered why such a simple sentence carried so much weight. The phrasing mattered more than fans first understood. Love feels amazing wasn't reflective or philosophical, it was experiential. It didn't sound like hindsight or advice. It sounded like someone speaking from inside the feeling, not observing it from a distance. Fans began pulling older interviews, comparing moments where Sam had deflected similar topics. In the past, he often redirected questions about romance toward work or personal growth. Humor had been his shield, distance, his comfort zone. This time, the shield was gone. What deepened the impact even further was his body language. His posture was open, shoulders relaxed, expression steady. There was no tension in his face, no flicker of hesitation. For someone known to manage his image with precision, that absence of defensiveness felt deliberate. Almost immediately, fans began asking the same quiet question: what changed? Sam hadn't announced anything new, yet the emotional shift felt undeniable. This didn't read as publicity or timing, it felt like internal certainty finally surfacing. The lack of qualifiers stood out. He didn't say love was complicated, fragile, or risky. He didn't balance the statement with caution. By keeping it simple, he made it powerful. The simplicity felt earned, not naive. As the clip spread, reactions evolved from surprise to reflection. Fans noted how different this felt from scripted celebrity soundbites. There was no attempt to inspire or impress. It felt like a thought spoken aloud without rehearsal. Many noticed the comment wasn't framed as a beginning or an ending. It sat comfortably in the present, suggesting stability rather than infatuation. Theories began forming, but they were gentler than usual. Instead of urgency-driven speculation, fans leaned into possibility. Conversations shifted toward growth, healing, and the idea that happiness doesn't always announce itself loudly. Some admitted the moment caught him off guard precisely because it wasn't dramatic. There was no spectacle to distract from the words. The lack of noise forced listeners to focus on meaning, and in that focus, the sentence gained weight. What lingered most was how comfortable Sam seemed letting the statement exist without explanation. He didn't rush to contextualize or soften its impact. He allowed it to hang in the air, trusting it to be understood, or questioned. That confidence suggested peace rather than uncertainty. By the end of the day, the clip had been shared thousands of times, not because it was sensational, but because it felt sincere. Fans returned to it not to analyze, but to feel. It became a reminder that some of the most meaningful revelations are quiet. The sentence didn't answer questions, it reshaped the emotional landscape. Sam hadn't confirmed anything, yet many felt he'd shared more than ever before. In one calm moment, he altered how people perceived his inner world. What made it unforgettable was its restraint. No declarations, no names, no explanations, just a simple truth spoken at the right time. For fans who had watched him guard his heart for years, that simplicity felt like the boldest statement of all. As the initial warmth settled, fans began asking why it felt so different from anything he'd said before. It wasn't louder or more explicit on the surface, yet it carried a sense of arrival, as if spoken by someone who had stopped searching. That emotional finality lingered long after the clip ended. Rewatching the moment, many noticed what came next as closely as what was said. Sam didn't retreat or pivot away. He continued speaking with the same calm rhythm, as if nothing extraordinary had occurred. That composure suggested the words hadn't slipped out by accident. Fans started placing the moment into a broader timeline. Over recent months, Sam's public demeanor had softened in subtle but noticeable ways. Interviews felt less guarded, humor less deflective. Viewed together, the sentence felt less like a shock and more like a natural progression. Inevitably, attention turned to the unspoken context. No names were mentioned, but emotional patterns long observed began to connect. This wasn't gossip fueled by impulse, but recognition built over years. Discussions grew introspective rather than invasive. Instead of demanding answers, fans reflected on how rarely public figures allow themselves such plain honesty. The absence of qualifiers made the moment intimate without crossing boundaries. It invited understanding, not interrogation. As the clip continued circulating, reactions grew gentler. Dramatic theories faded, replaced by quiet happiness. Some fans wrote about feeling relief, almost pride, as if witnessing someone finally exhale after years of restraint. With fresh perspective, viewers revisited older interviews. Past comments about timing, privacy, and emotional growth now felt less evasive and more preparatory. Love feels amazing, reframed them all, giving them cohesion. What once seemed guarded now appeared intentional. The idea that the statement was rooted in a meaningful connection gained quiet traction. Katrina Balfe was mentioned carefully, not as rumor, but as part of a shared emotional history visible both on screen and beyond. The tone was respectful, not urgent. What stood out most was how Sam allowed the words to stand alone. He didn't guide interpretation or manage reaction. He didn't confirm or deny what followed. By stepping back, he gave the sentence room to resonate. Over time, the clip became something fans returned to for reassurance rather than answers. In an industry built on ambiguity, it felt like a rare moment of clarity. Critics noted the phrase could be read as philosophical rather than personal. Even so, many admitted the delivery felt grounded in experience. The difference wasn't in the words, but in how comfortably they were carried. Experience settles into tone. As days passed, excitement softened into appreciation. The moment stopped being dissected and started being remembered as a feeling, one that lingered gently instead of demanding resolution. In the end, the power of the statement lay in what it didn't do. It didn't explain, justify, or promise anything. It simply revealed a truth in passing. Sometimes the most honest things are said when there's nothing left to prove. Sam didn't say it to make a point. He said it because it was true in that moment. And that authenticity was what fans recognized instantly: quiet, warm, and unmistakably real.